Imagine Evan Williams, co-founder of Twitter, sitting in the early days staring at a tangle of unresolved tensions. Should he keep control tight or bring in more partners? The friendships he'd built felt fragile, his vision fragile too. What if these early choices, who to work with, how to split equity, when to let go, were less about the product and more about survival? These are the founding moments where startups live or die long before any revenue shows up. You might think starting a company with your best friend is a shortcut to success. Turns out, it's often a trap. Friendships can turn to bitter rivalries when money and power enter the mix. Evan Williams didn't just invent Twitter's code, he navigated friendships turned sour. Early on, he and his co-founders faced a brutal dilemma: how to balance emotional loyalty with business demands. Some friends expected equal say despite unequal input. Tensions crept in, teetering on the edge of collapse. Evan's story shows us the hidden cracks beneath handshake deals. Think of founding partnerships like dancing on a floor of ice. You need rhythm and balance, but one wrong move, too much control, too much trust can leave you slipping into conflict. Wasserman calls this the founder's paradox. You want trusted partners but struggle to keep control balanced. It's a dance of power and emotion where one misstep costs the business. The surprising payoff: founders who mix friendship with business without clear boundaries often lose both. Yet those who face this dilemma upfront, setting rules early, can transform fragile friendships into powerhouse teams. The takeaway: friendships aren't business contracts, but they need business boundaries to survive. Equity, the magic word that either seals loyalty or sparks war. But how do founders divvy up ownership when everything's uncertain and everyone's input isn't equal? The wrong split can sabotage even the most promising startup. Tim Westergren's story at Pandora is a cautionary tale. He started with a few close partners sharing the company equally, assuming trust and friendship would keep peace. But as roles shifted and contributions diverged, those equal slices became sources of tension. Some founders felt they worked harder yet had the same slice. That equity crust cracked relationships and slowed progress. Imagine cutting a birthday cake when you don't know how many guests will actually show up or who's hungrier. Equity splits are like that. You slice before knowing who'll contribute the most: sweat, magic, or money. Wasserman calls this a premature allocation problem. If you don't forecast contributions, you bake resentment into the cake. The real payoff: founders who revisit equity division, often matching shares to contributions as the company evolves, avoid the silent resentments that kill teams. Clear, fair stakes don't just divide ownership, they build trust and focus the team on growth, not grudges. Every founder hits a crossroads: keep the reins or step aside. Holding control feels like survival, stepping down feels like surrender. The timing of this decision can make or break the startup and the founder's future. Noam Wasserman studied founders who should have exited but clung to power, like Evan Williams after early Twitter success. Instead of stepping back when investors pushed for a professional CEO, he hung on. This power struggle drained energy, slowed growth, and eventually cost him financial upside. Staying stubborn often means losing both control and rewards. Control is like wearing armor: it protects you but weighs you down. Founders guard decision rights fiercely, not realizing that protecting control too tightly can trap them in narrow roles and blind them to scaling needs. Letting go can feel like losing identity, but often frees the business to thrive beyond the founder's personal reach. The surprise: founders who learn to read the signs and exit or share control at the right time often unlock a bigger payoff, emotionally and financially. Sometimes the best move isn't to hold on but to pass the baton with grace, ensuring the startup and yourself survive and flourish. Back to Evan Williams: those tangled friendships and control battles weren't just drama, they were the startup's lifeblood. The founder's dilemmas teach us that before you code a line or launch a product, you need to master the human math, the decisions about who's in, who owns what, and when to let go. So next time you're starting up, try this: write down your roles, equity plan, and exit signs. Clarify before chaos. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.